Okay, this is 1.2c. This is level 4 of partitioning a line segment. So remember that our formulas are x equals k times x2 minus x1 plus x1, and y equals k times y2 minus y1 plus y1. And the way that we find k is the ratio of the part over the whole. When it's given to you in this format, A to B. Okay, so let's remember that the starting point is x1, y1. That's the practice, not the notes. The notes are up there. And the ending point is x2, y2. All right, so really quick, common strategies for word problems. Mark the text. Draw a diagram. And write your answer as a sentence. Okay, let's start with number 1. Jack buried a spare key to his house in his backyard in case of an emergency. The location of the back door is point B, 2, 3, and the location of an oak tree is point T, 12, 3. If Jack buried his spare key 1/3 of the way between the back door and the oak tree, what are the coordinates of the location of the key? So we can start by eliminating unnecessary information. I mean, this gives context, but we don't really need it for the math problem, right? So we don't really need that part. It says 1/3 of the way between the back door and the oak tree. So 1/3 of the way tells us K, right? That's what the partition is. And then between the back door and the oak tree tells us the starting and the ending. So let me actually highlight that with the color. So if the starting point is the back door, then our x1, y1 is B. So I'm going to write x1, y1. And if my ending point is the oak tree, then that's my x2, y2. And then the question to be answered is, what are the coordinates of the location of the key? So let's start writing some of this down. We know that K is 1/3. So we need to find X and Y. So let's start plugging some of these numbers in using our equations. 1/3, x2 is 12, x1 is 2. So that's the equation for x. And the equation for y is 3 minus 3 plus 3. Okay, so I'm going to just subtract, rather than distributing, I'm just going to subtract 12 minus 2. That's 10. Over 3. And if I convert 2, that's 6 over 3. 16 over 3. I can leave it as a fraction or round it to a decimal. And then for y, I'm going to have 1/3 times 0, which is 0, plus 3. So y equals 3. So the answer to my question is, in a sentence, the key is located at 5.33. Or you could leave it as a fraction. Okay, number 2. Two towns, Ashton and Bedford, are drawn on a coordinate plane as a map with a straight highway connecting them. Ashton is located at -3, -2, and Bedford is located at 3, 3. Highway planners want to build a rest stop 2/3 of the way from Ashton to Bedford. Find the coordinates of the point at which the rest stop should be built. Okay, so again, let's start marking the text. Let's find our K first. 2/3 of the way, that's K. X1 is our starting point, so that's Ashton. And Bedford is the ending point. That's point 2. Question that needs to be answered is find the coordinates of the point at which the rest stop should be built. All right, K is 2/3. So for X, we have 2/3 times 3 minus -3 plus -3. And for Y, we have 2/3 times 3 minus -2 plus -2. Okay, so we have 2/3 times 6 minus 3. This is going to be 4 minus 3, which is 1. This will be 2/3 times 5 minus 2. So this will be 10 over 3 minus 6 over 3, which is 4 over 3. Or 1.3. So the answer to the question is the rest stop should be built at 1.3. Okay. In a certain town, the mall is located 1 mile west and 8 miles north of the post office. The library is located 5 miles east and 2 miles north of the post office. If Alana's house lies 2/3 of the way between the mall and the library, find the location of her home relative to the post office. Okay, this is one where they are not giving us the coordinates. So it can be helpful to draw a diagram or draw our own coordinate plane and locate where the mall and the library and the post office are. Did everyone finish copying number 2? Okay. All right, so I'm going to draw a little coordinate plane over here. So let's start with where 0, 0 should be. It's giving us all of the directions relative to the post office. So it's 1 mile west and 8 miles north of the post office, and then the library is 5 miles east and 2 miles north of the post office. So let's make the post office 0, 0. Now, if the post office is at 0, 0, and the mall is 1 mile west and 2 miles north of the post office, that means I'm going to go, well, let me label these. "1 mile west and 8 miles north would be -1, 8. This is my mall. And then 5 miles east and 2 miles north is about right here, maybe, at 5, 2. That's the library. Does everyone see how I got that? Okay. So if her house is 2/3 of the way between the mall and the library, the mall is 0.1. Thank you.
Good day, nerds.
On the video again. The mall is x1, y1, and the library is x2, y2. Hopefully you can see that. All right, and Alana's house is, I'm just going to draw a point. It's probably not 2/3, but it's supposed to be 2/3 of the way is Alana's house. All right, so now let's figure out the coordinates of Alana's house. Relative, okay, so it's asking, find the location of her home relative to the post office. So we're going to find the coordinates, but in our answer, we need to say how many miles east and west, north and south of the post office, relative to the post office. So let's find these coordinates. Okay, so if x equals 3 and y equals 4, And the post office is at 00. Now, X being positive means it's moving towards east, and Y being positive means it's moving towards north. So my answer is Alana's house is 3 miles east and 4 miles north of the post office. So with level 4, make sure you're answering the question, because if you were to write 3, 4 and circle it, I would not accept that. It has to be find the location of her home relative to the post office. All right, I'm going to give you guys 2 or 3 minutes to do number 4, and then we'll see if you get it right. All right, raise your hand if you have an answer. 3 people, 4 people. Jesus, what answer did you get?
The tugboat is located 26 miles west and 9 miles north.
Of the port. Yes, that's correct. The tugboat is 26 miles west and 9 miles north of the port. All right, your practice is back here. Make sure that you've turned in